This is section 1.4 of college algebra. This section is very short in our course, and that's because we really don't talk about average value in our course, which is about half of this short section. What we're really only going to cover is two things: the slopes of parallel lines and the slopes of perpendicular lines. If two lines never cross, we call them parallel. And the slopes of parallel lines, the rate at which they increase or decrease, those slopes are equal. So that's actually point number 2 under here. If the two lines are parallel, their slopes are equal. And that would be as long as they're not either vertical or horizontal. If we have two lines which cross at a 90-degree angle, those lines are said to be perpendicular. Now the slopes of those lines, as long as they're not horizontal and vertical as I've drawn them, those slopes are negative reciprocals, which means if we multiply those two slopes together, the product is equal to -1. Now again, that doesn't necessarily work if if one's horizontal and one's vertical. So let me redraw here. Let's say that my perpendicular lines are something like this. Then we can multiply those two slopes together, and those slopes, the product of those slopes will equal -1. So some examples of negative reciprocals would be like if I had 1/2 times -2. Those would be negative reciprocals. Or if I had -3 as one slope and then 1/3 as another slope. So in other words, we flip the slope over and change the sign. One more example would be the 2/3 and -3/2. Any time I multiply negative reciprocals like the examples that I've given, the product will always be -1. So mostly what we need to be able to do is we need to find equations of lines which are either parallel or perpendicular to a given equation. So let's look at an example here. Let's say that we're looking for the equation of a line that is, let's start with parallel to 2x plus 3y equals 6, and it goes through the point 3, 4. So we're looking for, find the equation of the line that's parallel to 2x plus 3y equals 6, and it goes through the point 3, 4. The first thing we need to find is we need to find the slope of this line. Well, to find the slope of this line, one of the ways that we can do that is to solve it for y, to put it into slope-intercept form. So here we subtract 2x and we divide by 3. And we have the equation of the line y equals -2/3 x plus 2. Now the only thing that we're going to pick out of there is the slope. The slope of this line is given to us as -2/3. Now if the slope of this line is -2/3, what's the slope of the line that we're looking for? So if we call that M2, we know that the slopes of parallel lines are the same, so we're going to use the same slope. We also are given a point, 3, 4. So now we have a slope and we have a point. Now we're ready to write the equation of the line. I'm going to use a point-slope form, which says y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. I'm going to put my point in for x1 and y1, and I'm going to put my -2/3 in for slope. So you see I put 3 and 4 in for x1 and y1. I put -2/3 in for my m, and now I'm going to simplify. Y minus 4 is equal to -2/3 x. Have to distribute this -2/3, so -2/3 x minus, plus 2. The reason it's plus is because I have a negative times a negative. Now we can add 4 to both sides. Y equals -2/3 x plus 6. So the equation of the line that's parallel, it's parallel to 2x plus 3y equals 6, and it goes through 3, 4. That line has an equation y equals -2/3 x plus 6. Now I've given myself some space so that I can find the equation of the line that's perpendicular to my given line. Remember, the given line was 2x plus 3y equals 6, and we wanted to find this time the line that's perpendicular to 2x plus 3y equals 6, and it goes through the given point 3, 4. So remember, with parallel, what we did is we found the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. And we said that was negative 2/3 x plus 2. So we said the slope of this line is negative 2/3. We called that m1. Now, the slope of a line that's perpendicular to m1, I'm going to call this one m3, is the negative reciprocal. So we're going to flip the fraction and change the sign. So the slope of the perpendicular line, might even use the notation m, and then with a little perpendicular sign, that slope is going to be 3/2. So let's find the equation of the line that goes through 3, 4, perpendicular to 3/2. So y minus 4 equals 3/2 x minus 3. I'm using, again, point slope form. Here's my point, 3, 4. Here's my slope. Let's distribute the 3/2. Y minus 4 equals 3/2 x minus 9/2. And then let's add 4. So in order to add that 4, we're going to add it as 8 over 2. So 8 over 2 on this side, and we'll add it as a plus 4 on this side. So negative 9/2 plus 8/2 is negative 1/2. So the equation of the line that's perpendicular to 2x plus 3y equals 6, but passes through 3, 4, is y equals 3/2 x minus 1/2.